All right, looks like I'm live again. Hello, everyone. I know I've been away for a few weeks, but I've been busy, and my mom made me clean my room. Yeah, I know, like as Kyle says, if you look back here, as Kyle pointed out, it doesn't look like it's very clean. But actually, part of this is because I'm actually cleaning the area down there, and down there, and down there, and everywhere. So I'm not actually cleaning the area back there. When I clean I'll get to there. So it's actually there's even more stuff kind of loaded onto the shelves as usual because I'm trying to work on cleaning the floors first. Um, but anyways, I think it's not really like as my friend Sam said about like some corners, some corners and the look fancy. I think it's not really a matter of um putting this stuff somewhere else. I think it's a matter of just finding the right angle, um, like finding a spot where I have a good background to do the video calls, which would be like I mean like one corner where there's nothing is like that corner because it's just a wall. Other than the marks on the wall, there's nothing there other than the wall, which could work. But the problem is my bed is there, and then like there's nothing. That's why there's nothing on that. There's no shelves there. So the rest of my room kind of has shelves everywhere. So it's really not a matter of being able to find any corner. I don't think. I mean, this little area here, it is, but my camera is not zoomed in enough to show only this area here. Which you can see this area. Other than I put some hockey stuff down there, it's actually kind of clear. Anyways, um, I looked at the notes. I know I'm a little late coming on, and I know I haven't been on for the last 2 weeks. As I said I've been doing other stuff. But now it seems like a good time to do a video, so I just came on live. I didn't pre-record this one, so that's why you don't get a virtual background or anything like that. Yeah, so when I pre-record it, it can be like this as well, but sometimes I decide to use a virtual background on Zoom when I'm pre-recording. So then, it's you don't get to see as much as of my room in that instance. All right, so we had Easter Sunday, so I decided this is a good week to come back on, um, and maybe if I can find the time, I'll go back to doing my own messages as well. Just to practice doing my own messages. That might be something I can look into doing. The coming few months, the schedule, everything would be different. So that could be a possibility that I go back to doing my own messages. I spend some time preparing and just talking about other stuff, and not going off the crew notes. But we had Easter Sunday, and just like they said, when I was doing the Facebook moderation, I didn't really see a lot more people than usual coming on on Easter. I mean, I guess it was like double digits instead of single digits, but when you in reality, there's like maybe only like less than 10 people more than usual, right? So YouTube maybe is a different story, but there wasn't a lot of people that came on the Facebook broadcast, Facebook Live broadcast. Yeah. But anyways, but still more than usual, and they're right. Like Easter time and Christmas time is probably more people coming on, so it's a good time that I also do a crew live or K live, sorry. It's not to be mistaken with the actual crew live that they do. Later on in the day, you'll see there'll be a crew live video on the Wu's website. If you watch that, I've mentioned it a few times that they do it. So that's why I decided to also just make use of their notes and make my own videos based on their notes. So we did they talked about Easter Sunday, and the theme the message was called "Morning Ends in the Morning," and how they talked about Jesus, it was sad when Jesus was being killed, but then in the morning on the Sunday morning he got resurrected, and everything's good now. So then the morning is over. So I'm just gonna read their notes, and yeah, and because the notes seem a little bit shorter, that's why I was saying that today's message I might be able to just get it through and just get it done pretty quick, which is kind of what I'm hoping to do. So here goes. Scripture, John 28:10-18. Then the disciples went back to their homes, but Mary stood outside the tomb, crying. As she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been. Yeah. so you can't kind of see me when I'm reading it, but yeah. So maybe I'll put the scripture up on my screen, so I can read it and you can without my head. But that's why I like to do the pre-recording, because when I do the pre-recording, I get to see it. But I also just kind of record the screen of me, of the scripture I'm reading, and you don't have to see me like just my head down looking at my phone. To kind of, I mean, I could pop up the. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess like the only thing is if I have another window of that, you I don't get to see what my face looks like while I'm reading, but I should be able to open a new window here. So okay, so I can still see myself a little bit, but or I can make it smaller. And that way that'll work, where I can see my live and the notes at the same time. Let's do that. It won't take long. All right, so now I'm looking at the screen and reading it. So now you can see me. Maybe that's a little bit better. All right, so Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look at the tomb. Verse 12. And saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been taken, had been, one at the head and one at the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." Sorry, I just was wondering whether my email said I got like it got email telling me that I went live. All right, they don't know where I have put him. And yeah, actually, I read that verse already before I switched. At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize it was Jesus. "Woman," he said, "why are you crying? Who is it you're looking for?" Then, thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, you have carried him away. Tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned towards him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet returned to the Father. Instead, go to the brothers and tell them, I am returning to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene ran to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord," and she told them he has said these things to her. So other references are Psalm 35-7, John 20, 1 to 6-8, and John 21-18. And this is 10-18 that they have put on the notes that I just read. It's verses John chapter 20, 10-18, 10-18 that I just read. All right, so the tomb. In order to, no, sorry, main idea. Have you ever had to wake up super early when it was still dark outside? It can be disoriented to wake up before your mind realizes what's happening, but your heart knows that it needs to get up. Whether it's for work, practice, praying, or preparing, we have a reason to start the day. Mary Magdalene had a mission to see her beloved friend, Jesus, before the sun rose. She didn't realize that the worst 3 days of her life would suddenly become the greatest light the world had ever seen. There will be seasons when it's dark outside, but when you carefully look for the clues Jesus has left you, you'll find a way to win the day rather than focus on the season. Your morning will end in the morning when God's light enters your tomb. Your worst season will give birth to your best season, the tomb. In order to validate that something exists or is true, we always seek evidence. The empty tomb is where Jesus was buried and is a valuable clue that indeed he resurrected. If you were to visit the tombs, to visit the tombs of the world's most famous leaders, they have one thing in common: their bones are there. Jesus' empty tomb symbolizes his resurrection. His death was not the end, yet his resurrection utters, "It is finished." Before it was Sunday, it was Friday. Hang on, because joy is coming. Not even death could confine Jesus. He died, but resurrected so that we may live. The same power God used to open Jesus' tomb can also unlock ours. Faith is more than reasoning, but it's not less. So faith is more than reasoning, but it's not less. So it's not like it's not reasoning, but it's more than just your what you think and what you see and what you feel. All right, so I didn't lose my monitor there for a second. Yeah, I did. I kind of triggered the wire, but it's still connected now. All right. Okay, so share a time you felt your joy would never come. How did Jesus turn your mourning into morning? I can't really think of anything in particular about this that my joy would never come. I know like sometimes like a lot of things that that kind of lead to that, but I can't really think of one instant in particular off the top of my head. Um, but like one thing I did think about was like recently I won another game that I filled in for 5-3. It wasn't looking so good at first. I think we were actually losing maybe like 1-0 or 1-0 in the first. But like then we came back in the first as well. So what happened was like my team got like they got like 3 power play goals and they stayed out of the box. So that's kind of how like we won. Um, but and we didn't get any penalty. And usually I'm pretty good at the penalty kill, but I didn't have to do any penalty kill. So I think sometimes it is about a lot about luck. I mean, even the 3 goals that went in, the second one just kind of bounced off my foot and somehow like it ran off my well, the foot portion of my leg pad and it just went in. So what I'm saying is like I thought I was gonna lose another one at that time. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna lose another one. But but we caught back up, so that was good. That I didn't really expect because I've been losing. I've been not doing so well this season. Not winning as many games, and even though some of it is luck, it's been a lot of luck. So like I start to blame myself, and I start to mourn, and I start to think that I would never, I never get like wins again. But like I finally got the 4th win. And like I was telling my friend, like it may not be like more than 50% win percentage like it was before, but at least it's more than 10% because I definitely have not done 40 games this season yet. So definitely more than 10% at least. So I don't know. Hopefully it's but I definitely had like a losing streak. So it's finally good that it's finally I got another win. Even though the best that I got before that a few weeks ago was a tie, 1-1. So like but it still wasn't a win. So a win obviously still feels better than a tie. But finally, I finally won another game. So hopefully I can keep up the good work. Even though I'm not gonna do the summer team anymore. I don't know if I mentioned it in the other video, but I was on the summer team. But then the summer team said that their goalie is coming back, and they've been playing. He's been playing with them for a few years, years now, and like he can't say no. So yeah, so I got dropped from the team, and now somebody else is playing. So definitely, I do not have a summer team right now. So that's so. And in the winter time, I'm gonna go back to school, so I don't really think that I want to be part of a team, um, even if I had the opportunity to be part of a team. So I would just probably just continue with the the you know the the play as you go rental goalie and just play whenever I have time to play. And hopefully, but the thing is, I obviously can't be like too much of a loser. So I'm glad that I finally won a game that it can prove to myself that I still have it, and that and that hopefully going forward into like into the summer, they may not be as much, but like hopefully going forward for the rest of the year into the summer and then into the fall again, that I will still be able to maintain like good hockey playing, and that it'll be good. Um, Okay, so the folded napkin. Culturally, if a master was dining and got up, yet folded his napkin and placed it on the table, the servant would know that the master would be returning. When John and Peter ran to the tomb after being alerted by Mary and Jesus by Mary that Jesus' body was not there, they saw the burial napkin was neatly folded, much like the illustration of the master and the servant. When when they saw this, they rationalized that the Messiah had returned to them, resurrecting from the grave. Although only 3 days earlier they had abandoned and denied Jesus, after seeing this, they again believed when they saw the folded napkin that he's done and that he is the master will be returning. That's a symbol of that. That's like their tradition. Don't allow shame or mistakes to prevent you from believing in Jesus and running towards him. We can rest in the rational belief that Jesus raised from the dead. You don't die for a lie. You for a lie that you know is a lie. The disciples died building the church on the truth of the resurrection. Jesus' resurrection means everything. In what ways has the truth of Jesus given you supernatural courage? Um, I'm not really sure what to say for this one, to be honest. Just reading it, these questions seem kind of deep. So, I mean, we don't have crew this week, but if we did have crew this week, is definitely something I need to think about ahead of time, before having crew, um, because like definitely these questions are kind of like they're kind of like challenging, and oh actually yes so I think like my friend told me about like how I can access I don't know if they still make them because we don't have crew, but they usually have like a crew leader version of the notes. Oh wait, or is it maybe no hyphen? I don't know. I had a yes. So there's a crew. Yeah, I found the crew leader version of the notes. Uh, uh, so so the crew leader version of the notes, they usually the thing about it is they usually have like alternative questions, uh alternative questions, and and that's what I'm gonna read right now. So some of these alternative questions is: in what areas of your life are you in need of resurrection power? What gives you confidence that the story of Jesus rising is true? Or share about a time in your life when you received forgiveness. Okay. Any aspects of your life in need of a resurrection? Yeah, I guess that last one, any aspects of your life in need of a resurrection, is just going off the first question, but also like not just about hockey, but like just life in general. I kind of feel like at this point in my life that a little bit defeated, sort of like my friend did when he got to this age. But at the same time, life is not over yet. But I do need a resurrection in my self confidence. I would say, in terms of like finding a job and continuing to be good at hockey, and stuff like that. Like I do need a resurrection that that I'm still useful, and I'm still like I said, self confidence. That I'm still useful, and that I'm still wanted, and I'm still can be a valuable contributor. I need some resurrection of that. So that's kind of what I want to say for this to answer the alternative question there about any aspects of your life in need of a resurrection. Okay, so now we move on to the summary. On the first Easter morning, no one could have imagined that the darkest moment could become brightest, that a place of death could become a place of new life. Today, God invites us to join the awesome story of resurrection as Jesus continues to make all things new. The 2-ton boulder that sealed Jesus' tomb didn't roll away to let Jesus out, but to let everyone see and believe. And even when we feel we can't see, whether because of darkness all around or because our eyes are blurry with tears, keep listening for the voice of Jesus to break through. He knows each of us by name and is calling us to trust him. Become participants in the marvelous resurrection story as we embrace the good news that Jesus is alive and boldly proclaim uh, this hope to the world. Call to action. In your prayers this week, ask God for opportunities to share the good news of how Jesus transformed your life. Be intentional in your everyday conversations to express your gratitude for what Jesus has done for you. Okay, so I normally don't read the announcements, and I don't really have a lot of announcements um, to talk about. What the heck? Huh. Crew report. Hmm. So oh, interesting. So they can they have to fill in like attendance and stuff like that. It looks like. I guess I didn't notice this part the time that I was supposed to submit the prayer requests. Because Gia was away at the time. Anyways, and Coleman was not available that day too. So I guess I could have submitted the prayer request there, in this form here that on the bottom the crew leader notes. But I did not really see that because you got to scroll all the way down. Anyway, so that's it for today. Like I said, I'll try to make it a shorter video, and but it still looks like it's about 20 minutes, but maybe not 25 or closer to 30, whatever. So thank you for watching, and maybe hopefully I'll be able to find time to come back for next week's video.